Okay, we're told about some stationary points here, and we're told where they are. So these are the x values where the gradient is 0. So if we plug in 0 into this, we'll get negative 0 on the outside of this bracket, which is 0. So it doesn't matter what this bracket is, this whole thing will come to 0. So that's why that's a stationary point. And if we plug 2 in, 2 take away 2, this will give you 0 in this bracket. 0 times anything will be 0, so that will give you the other point. We're not asked to find those coordinates, we've been given them. We're asked to find out the nature of those stationary points, so we want to know what the points are, what the gradients of the points are around it. So if I write my x coordinates 0 and 2, and I want some neighbouring coordinates, so I'm leaving some blanks there, and we want to work out dy dx surrounding it. So we know that the gradient where x is 0, as it's a stationary point at that point, and the gradient at 2 is 0. So we make a little table like that. Now we need to find out some of these values. So I'm going to put in 3 there, a point to the right of 2, to the left of 2 but to the right of 0 that will be 1, and to the left of 0 that will be negative 1. So if I plug these numbers into dy dx, I get my value of the value for the gradient. So this one I'm going to go negative 3, so I'm substituting 3 into this here. 3 take away 2 squared, which is negative 3 times 1 squared, which is negative 3 times 1, which is negative 3. Plug 1 in, so I get negative 1. 1 take away 2 squared, that's negative 1 times negative 1 squared. Negative 1 squared is 1, so negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. And then this last one, we plug negative 1 in, so negative x becomes negative negative 1. Negative 1 take away 2 in here, all squared. That gives us 1 times negative 3 squared. 1 times 9, this is 9, will give us 9. Now that is positive, that number there. So if we look at our 2 points, we've got first of all a stationary point there. So that is going to have a 0 gradient. We're going to have a positive gradient coming in. So that's that positive 9 there. And we're going to have a negative gradient coming out. So that's going to go that way. So that coordinate there, 0, 4 thirds, is a maximum. As you can see there, it's a maximum. This one here, we've got a 0 gradient in the middle. We've got a negative gradient coming in, that's going to look like that. And we've got a negative gradient coming out, that's going to look like that. So this coordinate here, 2, 0, is a point of inflection.